At that time, in New York, in federal court, Nicolas Maduro stated that he did not plead guilty before America. In Caracas, Venezuelan authorities announced preparations for a retaliatory attack on the United States to rescue President Maduro. From that moment, chaos erupted in Venezuela. The military ordered a general mobilization to prepare for war against America. At the same time, Delcy Rodriguez was sworn in as the acting president of Venezuela, and her brother became the head of the country's parliament. And amid all this commotion, a decree was issued in Caracas declaring that there would be persecution and repression against everyone who participated in rallies supporting the actions of the United States and welcomed the arrest of Maduro. United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio states that he will not allow Venezuela to become an operational center for Russia, while the Kremlin is already looking to make a deal in exchange for Ukraine. These are the signals they're sending to Washington while Trump announced plans to invade Colombia and Greenland. And the United States Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, publicly mocked Russia and Vladimir Putin personally, stating that the much-praised air defense system that Russia supplied to Maduro's regime did not work at all. Let's discuss in detail in this episode the latest news about Trump's plans to take over the entire Western Hemisphere, what's happening in Venezuela today, and how Americans are mocking Russians. My name is Alexei Pichi. Let's discuss this topic together. But before we start, I ask you to subscribe to the channel, like this episode, and leave any comment under this video. This really helps a lot in promoting the content on YouTube, and I will be very grateful to you for that. Also, subscribe to my Telegram channel, Peachy News. The link to it is in the description of this video. There we publish breaking news as it comes in, and often it comes out faster there than here on YouTube. These are the news from our hemisphere. The United States Department of State issues statements declaring the Western Hemisphere a United States exclusive zone of interest. So, with Trump, they don't even hide anymore that America has returned to the Monroe Doctrine of 1823, which clearly states that North and South America are the exclusive zone of interest for the United States. And after that, United States Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth comes out and, openly mocks the Russians and Vladimir Putin personally and makes the following statement, quote, 3 nights ago in downtown Caracas, Venezuela, almost 200 of our best Americans went to the city center. It seems that Russian air defense didn't work so well, did it, right? Pete Hegseth says mockingly.
And we saw 3 nights ago in downtown Caracas, Venezuela, how almost 200 of our best Americans went to the center of Caracas. It seems those Russian air defenses didn't work so well, right?
But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. And let's discuss what's happening in Venezuela. At the same time, while in New York, Maduro was appearing in court. On this topic, I have a separate video on my YouTube channel, so if you haven't watched it, check it out. In Caracas, they were active too. The first vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, was sworn in as the acting president of Venezuela. At the same time, the brother of the acting president of Venezuela, Jorge Rodriguez, was appointed as the chairman of the National Assembly, that is, the local parliament. This means that the Rodriguez brother and sister have gained full control over the executive and legislative branches of power in Venezuela. Simply put, the Rodriguez family has taken on almost all the power in Venezuela, even though Rodriguez herself said just yesterday that no, Nicolas Maduro is the only president of Venezuela. A whole lot of blah blah blah.
Of an aggression.
An illegitimate military aggression against our homeland. I come with sorrow because of the kidnapping of 2 heroes who are being held hostage in the United States of America.
It's amusing that Delcy Rodriguez urged Washington to reconcile and cooperate. Judging by the tone of her statement, Rodriguez took a softer stance toward the administration of Donald Trump. After the initial statements about the government's readiness to defend the country from those damned Americans, today Rodriguez says, quote, "We invite the United States government to work together on a cooperation program aimed at common development within the framework of international law and at strengthening lasting coexistence in the community." Let me remind you, Trump said the United States would assume control of the Republic's administration, with Rodriguez joining a team of American officials in this effort. On Sunday, the United States president told The Atlantic magazine that Venezuela needs restoration and warned Rodriguez, quote, "If she doesn't do the right thing, she will have to pay a very high price." probably even more than Maduro. According to the head of the United States State Department, Marco Rubio, the United States will focus on the actions of the new head of Venezuela, not on her rhetoric. He also urged Rodriguez not to allow Venezuela to become an operational center for anti-American activities by Iran, Russia, and China. He emphasized that it is unacceptable for the world's largest oil reserves to be under the control of opponents of the United States. But this is where problems start. The 56-year-old Delcy Rodriguez, together with her brother, the head of the Venezuelan parliament, Corca Rodriguez, represent the civilian branch of the Chavista regime, named after former President Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. That is, they are in charge of the civilian branch of power, but it seems they don't fully control the military. Today, there was a report that the Venezuelan authorities have announced a mobilization and switched the oil industry to a military regime to protect strategic infrastructure. The government, meaning what is under Rodriguez's control, has introduced a state of emergency and switched the oil sector, as well as other strategically important industries, to the so-called military management regime. They are all under military control. The main goal is to increase control over key infrastructure and prevent possible sabotage. Special attention is being given to oil production and refining facilities as they are crucial for the country's economy. The authorities have also strengthened security measures at industrial enterprises and government facilities. But then the military issued their own statement, and here is a quote from their document. An immediate mobilization of the national armed forces is ordered throughout the entire country, and the use of all available national power to repel foreign aggression. In addition, clearly under pressure from the military. The Rodriguez government has already issued a decree of external unrest, which grants the president broad powers and authorizes the security forces, that is, the military, to detain people as well. Quote, any person involved in promoting or supporting the United States attack, and this is where confusion arises. The fact is, the document orders the detention of anyone who in any way supported the actions of the Americans. It is dated back to Saturday and signed by the ousted president Nicolas Maduro, who was captured that same morning by American troops. And he is currently being held in custody in New York. It would seem, well, okay, that's it. This document is no longer valid, but that's not the case. Later, the same document was also signed by Delcy Rodriguez. This document contains a quote. National, state, and municipal police authorities must immediately begin searching for and detaining throughout the entire country any person involved in organizing or supporting the armed attack by the United States of America on the territory of the Republic for the purpose of subsequently bringing them to justice. This is the document that Delcy Rodriguez approved, and now experts claim that Rodriguez signed the document because it extends the state of emergency in the country. And the Constitution of Venezuela states that under a state of emergency, the decree grants the president almost complete political, economic, and social power over the country. But the military sector remains in question again. Nevertheless, most likely, it is the Rodriguez family that can retain power in the country and completely reshape it to suit themselves. And Maduro will simply be forgotten. And here it is worth paying attention to the statement of former United States Ambassador to Venezuela, Charles Shapiro, who essentially laid out the picture that awaits Venezuela. In Caracas, there is no celebration because no one knows what the local police will do, since Maduro's structure, except for Maduro himself, continues to exist. Therefore, it is absolutely clear that we, the United States of America, put stability above democracy, leaving the same people, the same oil workers, the same police, and the same army in their places. President Donald Trump has shown no interest in the return of Edmund Gonzalez, whom the Venezuelan opposition considers the true winner of the 2024 presidential election. In addition, Trump expressed distrust toward Maria Corina Machado, the leader of Venezuela's opposition movement, rejecting the possibility that she could serve as interim leader. Meanwhile, Donald Trump hinted that the United States might invade Colombia, whose leader he accuses of illegal drug shipments to the United States. Colombia is very sick. It's run by a sick man, President Gustavo Petro, who likes to produce cocaine and sell it to the United States, and he won't be doing this for long, believe me. When a journalist asked him if these words meant the possibility of special operations in Colombia in the future, Trump replied that it doesn't sound bad. Petro, the president of Colombia, later said he is ready to take up arms if the United States invades. The White House chief reiterated that the United States needs Greenland, as he has said before. This is about ensuring the national security of the United States, Trump explained. It has strategic importance. Right now, Greenland is literally covered with Russian and Chinese ships. We need Greenland from the point of view, and the European Union needs us to get it, and they know it. Well, today Politico reports that Trump will seek to gain control over Greenland by July 4th, that is, by the 250th anniversary of the independence of the United States of America. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like, friends, if you found this episode useful and interesting. You can support the work of this YouTube channel financially with your donation or paid subscription using the links and details provided. In the description of this video it says, support the channel Alexei Peachy. Choose any format that is convenient for you. I will be grateful for any support from you. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, everyone.